Welcome in Phantom to Jappy.
All right. Hello. What's up, Togepi? Welcome in. Good to see you. Bright and early. We will be continuing the case that we were on, Turnabout Revolution, on Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. And let's see, we got a little recap. Domm needs to remind himself what we're doing here. So let me see what I can pull out of my memory, and then we'll look at the court record. Or maybe we'll do that as we go. So we started this case as Apollo Justice. We were just chilling at the office when one day a familiar face comes in, at least familiar to Apollo. And it was the man who supposedly raised him. It was this man. And we find out that he is also none other than Dirk Sadmati, the leader of the Defiant Dragons over in the country of Kahrain from previous cases. And through them discussing, we learned a little bit of background of Apollo, that Apollo was raised alongside Nayuta Sadmati as a boy by Dirk, and that they basically have like a tumultuous history where Dirk ended up going off and doing his revolution and never actually coming to see Apollo once Apollo went off to Japanifornia or whatever to become a lawyer. And so Apollo, you know, is very standoffish to him. But yeah, that's sort of their background. And let's see. So as far as the case goes, Dirk came to Apollo because he needs to find what he calls the Founder's Orb, which is this artifact from the country he's from. And it's this artifact that only the most holiest of people or whatever, the royalty, can see. And it's been stolen some time ago, and Dirk believes that it is in Japanifornia, or more specifically, it's in Korean Village. And there's a doctor there that is supposed to have it, and he's been negotiating, or his friend, Datsuribal, has been negotiating to get the artifact from him. And so he asked Apollo to help him go to Korean Village and meet with the doctor. So we go there. It turns out that the doctor has died the previous night, and there's been an accident where all these books fell on him and he died. Do we have him in the profiles? Yeah. Archie Buff, an archaeologist in the Korean Village. He was asked by someone to study the Founder's Orb. So yeah, so he, we found him dead, or at least we found the crime scene or whatever, from his accident. So he was supposedly had the orb, but we didn't know what the orb looked like because nobody's seen the orb. So we couldn't just necessarily like find it in his house or whatever. So let's see. Long story short, we end up looking for the orb, and through looking for the orb, we end up meeting a few more people, namely Paul Atishon. He is a new political person who's trying to get elected as like the head of Korean Village, because he wants to make it great again or whatever. And one big thing about him is that he has this family heirloom he's been talking about that's been stolen from him, and he's saying it's the orb that Dirk is calling the Founder's Orb, so he's also claiming the orb. And so he knows that we're also looking for an orb, and he believes it to be his orb, so that pops up. And we eventually find the orb, I think after talking to Sergeant Buff, which is Archie's son, who's a shut-in, and he talks to us through the Strone. You know, finding the orb, and then fast-forwarding to the end of that, we end up running into Paul again once we have the orb, and he is again saying that it's his orb, and he actually has a lawyer now, and the lawyer happens to be Phoenix Wright. And so now we are apparently going up against Phoenix Wright in a rights to the orb lawsuit, I guess. And I'm assuming the death of the Archie is going to be a part of it, because that was probably not an accident, but you know, we'll have to get to that. I think that's pretty much the broad strokes of it. His death was a real bookend, but there it is. They thought it was funny. I wish that wasn't so delayed for some reason. That one always takes a long time to play. Let's see. So yeah, there's the Founder's Orb. That's what it actually looks like. Karane's national treasure. The doctor hid it in the ruins before his untimely death. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that part. Yeah, when Apollo and Dirk were looking for the Founder's Orb, they ended up going to this cave, these ruins, because they ended up kind of tracking down the footsteps of the doctor, long story short. And they get pushed down this pit, and it was actually, it turns out it was a politician who pushed him in there, but either way, they didn't know who pushed them in there because it was dark, and they end up finding this chamber that had the Founder's Orb in it, and then Apollo almost drowns, and it's a super epic thing where Dirk ends up having this crazy plan where he gets pulled through this underwater channel and through the sea to save Apollo from the chamber that's filling with water.
23.
Hello, buddy! What's up? Welcome in, welcome in. You're just going over the recap while I pet Loki over here because he's a good boy. But yeah, so that was a crazy event that happened. It was Apollo nearly dying. Let's see what else we got. A photo of my father. So this is Apollo's dad, a picture of my biological father, Jove Justice, who died in Karain. Looks like a pretty cool dude. But he's got some pipes on him. You know what I'm saying? He's got musical parents, huh? Sorry I'm late. Oh, no problem. Anita listening to Hazier. New song on repeat a few more times. Oh, nice. That's cool. You lucky pets for me, please. You got it. Absolutely. He always gets pets. Let's see. The study photo. The doctor fell, hit his head on the floor, and died. There are blood and coffee stains on one of the books. Right here. I guess the blood and coffee stains won't matter, you think? Study diagram. A diagram of the doctor's study. Note the bookcase. Large window in second floor area. Bookshelf. Shelf, coffee bar, entrance. That's the whole thing. Why? I feel like we're just getting like half the picture here. Okay, we got research notes. Research notes on the Song of Ceremony and the box containing the Founder's Orb. Oh yeah, it's like a little part of the song or whatever. It's like the same part of the seance dance or whatever, the part that they don't say or something. When dragon and tiger battle, the founder offers divine protection. When the butterfly embraces the Mitama, the favor of the orb is bestowed. Offer thy prayers as fervent as fire. Only then shall the Holy Mother return. Descending upon us in all her glory, the founder bestows the greatest power known. Yes, that's how we use this as the key to open the box to get the Founder's Orb out of this box. Orb transfer agreement. So this is like Dirk's legal claim to the orb. I agree to hand over the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I will come to no harm. Dr. Archie Buff. Did I read that wrong last week? Because for some reason last week I think I accidentally read that if it will come to no harm, as in the orb, but it was I the whole time, which makes way more sense. I think I may have read that wrong last week. That's what I get for not taking my time. Then you got Sarge's drone, a helicopter drone operated by the doctor's kid, equipped with a camera and a microphone, and a lot more than that. Got emails on a thumb drive, data obtained from the doctor's computer, includes a report on his research into the Founder's Orb. Here's an email from Dr. Buff to Paw711. I deciphered the patterns, but have yet to crack the riddle. The opaque crystal orb is the key. Dr. Buff, how is your research coming along? I guess I read that in the wrong order. Whatever, you know, emails. Raincoat. Seems the doctor wore this last night. Bears a distinctive yellow and green two-tone design. Yeah, we use that to hunt down where he went that night, as well as this. Glowing moss stuck to the insole of the doctor's boot. It probably got there when he went to hide the Founder's Orb. And the doctor's reading glasses. The doctor's poor eyesight meant he couldn't read anything without these. They were found on his desk. So is that going to be like, well, they're on his desk, so how could he possibly grab the right book up, you know? So he wasn't up there trying to get books. Somebody killed him, trying to make it look like that. Because he wouldn't have climbed up there without his glasses on. I can already see that being an argument. Let's see, was there anybody else we need to go over in here? I think we looked at everybody. Oh, there's Edgy Boy. Edgy Boy's around. And then we got Pearl Faye, the ever precious pearls. Precious pearls. Protect her at all costs. Okay, shall we get to it? Oh, was I on the wrong camera the whole time? I thought I was down here. Was I not down here the whole time? My bad. I'm sorry if that was true. I thought I was up there. Anyways, you guys ready to get going? Let me get the music paused here. We love it, but we got to get the authentic stuff from the game. Okay. Let me make sure my voices are working real quick. Okay.
Come on. There we go.
Radio voice, and then you were down there, but then switched during the last little bit. Oh, I did. I must have accidentally hit the button, or maybe, you know what? It may have been Loki, because it is. I have it as a foot pedal, and he did walk up. So I wonder if he pushed it on accident. I'll have to watch out for that when he comes up. Okay, so I'm glad I at least was down there for our portion of that. All right, let's see here. And then inner voice is working. Okay, yeah, I think it's working. All right, let's get started. Let me get a little drink of water. May 17th, 10:08 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
Just so you know, I'm not going to take sides.
Message received, loud and clear.
Good, because I don't like this one bit. You and Daddy should be on the same team.
Sorry, Trucy. Wow, she's really mad. I'm sorry too, little lady. This is all my fault.
I'm just worried things will never be the same between Daddy and Apollo. If they go through with this.
It'd be so weird to be against Phoenix. Like, Phoenix is the prosecution this time? Oh, the music's stuttering? Okay, thanks for letting me know. Let me reset all that stuff. It's been a while since it messed up. I thought we were in the clear there, but apparently not. Let me just do my thing here. And then we'll restart this. And then usually when I do all those things, it fixes it. So let me know if it's still stuttering. Is that all? Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's the way it is with us men. We may fight, but we don't burn bridges.
Really?
Sure, one minute we're trading blows and the next we're having drinks together. We're simple creatures at heart. With us men, I know, that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, okay, whatever, Dirk.
I sure hope you're right.
It's like, unlike you women, of course. Like, whoa, Dirk.
Sorry I'm late, Apollo.
Athena, there you are. What happened with you and Mr. Wright yesterday?
Oh, about that. I ended up going to the wrong airport. I was waiting there, thinking his flight was really late, and before I knew it, I dozed off. By the time I woke up, it was already dark.
I figured something like that had happened. Being late and dozing off are the two things you do best.
Guilty as charged.
So then, I take it you have no idea what today's case is about?
Not a clue. Sorry. What is today's case about, if I might ask? Another locked room mystery? A suspect with a flimsy alibi? Oh, or a dying message?
Sorry, strike 3. You're out. It's a civil case.
A civil case?
You act like I'm speaking Swahili here.
It's just the Right Anything Agency specializes in criminal law, so I thought. In civil cases, there are no prosecutors, right? Instead, both parties retain an attorney.
Oh, okay. I guess that's why they can both be attorneys then. Because that's not how that works in their court, I guess. Maybe that's a real thing too. I don't know. Right. And the other attorney is someone you know very well.
Really? Who?
The trial will begin shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom at once. Okay, let's do this.
Apollo, wait. Who's the other attorney? And where is Mr. Wright?
No time to explain. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Right behind you.
It'll be bittersweet to see Phoenix lose, I know. But he's gonna have to, because I'm not in control of him. So obviously that means he loses. We know that. Gonna finally break his streak, dude. May 17th, 10:30 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 6. Good thing we're not in Bahrain, am I right? I mean, it's not like a murder mystery either, I guess. Court is now in session. Things just went. Is this some sort of practice session? I don't understand. A mock trial, perhaps? No, it's not, Your Honor. It's the real deal, Your Honor. So then you two have had a falling out. I won't have you using my courtroom for that, you know. It's nothing like that, Your Honor. Exactly. It just so happens that we have different clients in this case. I see. Well, here's to hoping this has no adverse effect on your working relationship.
You can say that again. I had no idea he'd be going up against the boss today. You sure this is a good idea, Apollo?
What? Do you want to switch sides?
Honestly, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Well, at least she is here. I'm really going to need her help.
Mr. Justice. Yes? Don't expect me to pull any punches just because you're the opposing lawyer. As I said, the kid gloves are off. And come what may, they'll stay off. Damn dog, those are fighting words. He surely had to grow into his hairs. He's a big boy now, absolutely he is. Same here, Mr. Wright. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. I got that dog in me. Woof woof. It's gonna like lack a certain flair to not have like a prosecutor, I feel like too, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they have Phoenix do. Yeah, don't use my courtroom to duke it out. Now performing magic tricks. Or balloon shows, exactly. Absolutely. He's gonna miss the balloon shows.
Yeesh, you guys are really chomping at the bit, aren't you?
I don't mind a good fight between co-workers. Just keep this civil case civil. Now then, if the plaintiff would take the stand, we may begin. Right, left, hold! I don't even remember what voice I used for him. Noble judge, members of the gallery, good day to you. I am politician. This is but the start of my epic campaign. You all have the honor of witnessing it. I believe the youth of this country to be our very future. Too long have they been looked down on and given the cold shoulder. So to them I say, ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can... Mr. Attician, what is that crazy contraption you're riding? It's my custom-made election-winning campaign mobile. Beautiful, isn't it? You're at a witness stand, not a campaign podium. So come out of there this instant. Not a chance. Oh, you put a little name tag up. That's pretty funny, dude. All right. Now, would the plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Wright, please explain the complaint filed against the defendant. This is a different format. Mr. Attician's complaint against the defendant is simple. The defendant, one Dirk Sodmati, stole my client's family heirloom, the crystal of Amy Faye. Mr. Attician merely seeks its return. This wouldn't have happened if that archaeologist hadn't kicked the bucket. I see. Well, Mr. Justice, let's have your opening statement, if you would. The defense asserts the item in question is the Founder's Orb, a sacred relic from Karain. Go on. Sounds pretty cool, like a video game or something. It seems someone asked an archaeologist, Dr. Archie Buff, to study the orb. Dr. Buff determined that it was a Karainese national treasure known as the Founder's Orb. The very orb that was stolen from a treasure room in Karain several weeks ago. Sorry. Why, yes, I saw a news report about that. The theft of a Karainese national treasure caused quite an uproar in the kingdom. Well, we believe that it was not, in fact, a theft in the traditional sense, but rather that it was spirited out of Karain by someone for Dr. Buff to study. I don't know why that was a weird statement for my brain. It was just like, what are we saying? I think the word spirited in that way maybe threw me. You don't say. And around that time, an acquaintance of the defendant learned of Dr. Buff. He made contact with the doctor, who agreed to hand over the orb. Apparently, the doctor wanted nothing to do with it once he'd learned it had been stolen. Seems you have even have a transfer agreement between both parties. Mr. Sadmati also agreed to return the Founder's Orb to the Kingdom of Karain, once the doctor verified it was the real thing. I see. So this dispute centers on whether the item in question is the Founder's Orb or the Crystal of Amy Faye. So why can't it be both, dude? It wasn't a normal stealing, it was stolen. What the fuck? Yeah, I know, right? It was spirited away, which is apparently different than stealing. I guess, to try to make sense out of that, I guess what they're saying is that someone who was able, who had control over it, because maybe they're trying to say that, like, oh, we think it was somebody like the royal family sent it to be studied, or whatever. But I don't know, because then in the end, once the guy found out it was stolen, that's when he... Yeah, I don't know. Because I think we're trying to make a subtle, nuanced point there, but it is kind of weird, isn't it? Anyway. That, in turn, will determine the object's rightful owner. I'd better bring my... blah, 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 blah. I'd better bring my A game. Going up against Mr. Wright won't be a walk in the park. Come to think of it, the name Dirk Sadmati sounds awfully familiar. But I can't recall where I've heard it. Sadmati, do I know anybody by that name? It's gonna become murder is too convenient. Yeah, absolutely, right? Because it's like, oh, it was an accident that he died. It's like, not in a freaking Ace Attorney case, dude. Oh, it's probably your imagination, Your Honor. He's just a tourist after all. My imagination, you say?
Are you sure about this, Apollo? He's a wanted criminal in Karain, isn't he?
In Karain, yes. Here, he's just a tourist. Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Oh, hey, Emma. That was like the first time we've scanned all the way from her feet to her head. Emma?
Show some manners. We're in court.
Oh, sorry. Lieutenant Emma? Or whatever. Detective? I know, it's just, this is a civil trial, so I was surprised to see a detective take the stand. She must have she must have get new shoes or something, right? Yeah, we had to show them off, dude. I had her do some digging on Dr. Buff. What for? See if he's a dirty liar.
You disappoint me, Apollo. First, you know I'm not just a detective, I'm a forensic scientist. Do try to remember that.
See, it's like Phoenix like calls in Emma to do some sweet forensics for him when we're not playing as him. Like, come on, Phoenix. I've always wanted Emma to be more involved again.
Second, you owe Mr. Wright an apology. After all he's done for you, you have some nerve.
First, I'm sorry. And second, I'm really just trying to do my job.
You'll never get anywhere with that attitude. Take some advice from someone who's been there.
Why do I feel like I'm on trial here? Detective Sky, your testimony, if you please. Enough of this banter. The doctor's dark secret.
The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. And just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study.
Yeah, flip the game disc and you can be Phoenix. That'd be cool.
Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the Faith clan. It seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Attition residence. Why I want to say Addison, but it's Attition because he's Paul Attition. I gotta remember that. I always stumble on that one for some reason. From the Attition residence.
The doctor is a thief? Why am I just hearing about this now?
Well, cat burglar isn't something he'd put on his resume. He was more careful than that. But the fact is, he was a classic treasure hunter. A treasure hunter, huh? Like people who have thrilling adventures in exotic places, risking life and limb for glory?
I doubt Dr. Buff was the star of his own hit movie series, Athena. Out of respect for the dead, I will say that Dr. Buff wasn't doing it to get rich. Apparently, he only wanted to borrow artifacts to study them. He would then return them as soon as his research was finished.
According to the doctor's child, he would even repair or restore some of the artifacts he stole before returning them. He believed he was honoring the dead by discovering their history through artifacts. But whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. Larceny is larceny.
Yes, he certainly sounds no different from a regular thief to me. A no good criminal who should be in prison. So let's say for a moment that the doctor really did moonlight in stealing artifacts. Might he not have stolen the Founder's Orb in Kalrain and brought it back here himself? Nope. There's no record of him traveling overseas over the past few years. Plus, he couldn't very well leave his reclusive child at home all alone. Then this really must be the Crystal of Amy Faye. Yes, he stole it from the Attition residence, probably so he could study it. This is the left hook I did not need.
I bet you never saw that coming, Apollo.
Yeah, when Mr. Wright said the kid gloves were off, he wasn't kidding. Yeah, larceny is larceny unless it's spirited, right? Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Cross-examination. The doctor's dark secret.
The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time.
Hold it! Hold it! How exactly did Dr. Buff arouse the suspicion of the police anyway?
Chalk it up to good old-fashioned sleuthing. After investigating countless artifact thefts over the past few years, the police finally zeroed in on him, and the doctor became their prime suspect.
A number of those artifact thefts occurred in Kurain Village, too, if I might add. And they started right around the time the doctor moved there. But he was never arrested. I take it there was nothing concrete linking him to a crime?
No, which is why we were never able to get a search warrant in the first place. It's hard to arrest artifact thieves unless you catch them red-handed. Still, the police had him under constant surveillance. And just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study.
Hold it! Are you sure these allegedly stolen artifacts are the real deal? I mean, we saw them. We know.
They're not fakes, that's for sure. Take the urn, for example. Apparently, it's an extremely intricate work of art.
Yeah, that pearls broke and put back together.
Its design, cracks, and other features would be impossible to replicate perfectly.
Actually, I've had a few run-ins with that urn myself. So I was shocked to see it there in the doctor's study. I can say without a doubt that that urn was stolen from the Fae clan. I see. Detective Sky, please continue with your testimony if you would.
Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the Fae clan.
Hold it! Hold it! Were any other stolen artifacts found besides those belonging to the Fays?
Yes, for instance. Remember the large relief on the wall? It was chiseled out of some ancient ruins in the kingdom of Karain several years ago.
Chiseled out? Didn't that damage it?
Well, he did restore the parts that were faded. You could barely see them anymore. It seems he intended to return it someday, so one could say his intentions were good. But good intentions are no get-out-of-jail-free card. That's a fact.
If I might add, with respect for the deceased, the quality of the restoration was apparently exceptional. It seems the doctor invested a lot of money in hiring an extremely talented specialist.
He sounds like a good man who took a wrong turn somewhere.
I guess Sarge takes after him in that way.
Any further questions? If not, it seems the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them.
Hold it. Have these alleged thefts been going on for some time?
At least 5 years, as far as we can tell. All the recent thefts had been local. But before moving to Karain Village, he had been stealing from ruins around the world.
Dr. Buff was an international criminal?
This data lends itself to but one conclusion. Dr. Buff was a thief. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Attician residence.
I always want to say it the other way. Attician! Hold it. You claim he stole a family heirloom from the Attician residence. But claiming something doesn't make it true.
Unfortunately, it is true.
How can you be so sure?
A police report was filed concerning the theft 1 year ago, in fact.
What? A whole year ago?
August 25th of last year, to be exact. The report states, and I quote, "The crystal of Amy Faye was discovered to be missing. From the Attician storehouse at 10 a.m., the storehouse lock has been picked. Signed, Politician Wimperson."
Wimperson? Politician Wimperson? Well, a year-old report certainly lends the plaintiff's claims some credence. The doctor could really have stolen the crystal of Amy Faye. Not only that, Your Honor, but the Founder's Orb was only found to be missing several weeks ago. That is nearly a year after the crystal's theft was reported. Therefore, I believe we must consider the orb and the crystal to be two separate items.
Politician Wimperson? Not the most awe-inspiring tail end, is it? I see why he cut it.
Not that he inspires confidence without it. Still, I'd probably do the same in his shoes. Wimperson. Robbery report. A report filed a year ago by one Mr. Paul Attician Wimperson for the theft of the crystal of Amy Faye. See, like, why is nobody, like, questioning why this family would have the crystal of Amy Faye? That's a Faye family heirloom, I would assume. Who are these Attician Wimpersons?
A police report was filed about the crystal's theft a year ago.
But the theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed way before the orb was found missing. That suggests the stolen relic is the crystal of Amy Faye, as Mr. Attician Wimperson asserts.
I doubt the police report is a fake. After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence.
Still, I feel like something we've learned in that police report is important somehow. Something we learned in the police report is important somehow. Discovered to be missing from the Titian storehouse. At 10 a.m. the storehouse lock had been picked. Is it the picked lock thing? 10 a.m. Well, whatever we're supposed to pick up from that's not jumping out at me. I was getting rid of stuff and it brought up too many traumatic memories. So she sold it to the Titian family and the Titian Wimpersons.
Wimperson.
Oops, what did I accidentally hit a button. I don't know what I went to there. That was weird. I just played the transition for no reason. Is that what just happened? Okay, let me move this keyboard. There we go. Safer that way. That was weird. Anyways, yeah, it's not jumping out at me. Let me read her what she said again. Police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. Priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the fake clan. So the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Titian residence. And then Apollo is saying something about the police report is important. Crystal of Amy Faye was discovered to be missing from the Titian storehouse. Oh, because this is the Titian storehouse, and while she said the Titian residence? Because that's different? I guess I can try that, because those are differences. Alright, let me save. And I guess we'll just present it, huh? Objection! Oh, this sounds too generic. Please take a look at this piece of evidence. I'm looking, but what am I supposed to see? Oh, as your boss and mentor, here's a bit of advice. Never present evidence before you have a good grasp on the situation at hand. Right. Sorry. And as the presiding judge, here's a penalty. Okay. That's fun to go through anyway. So it wasn't that. There's a slight difference. Doctor's reading glasses. It had something to do with the report, though. He just said that.
A police report was filed about the crystal theft a year ago.
The theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed way before the orb was found missing. That suggests the stolen relic is the crystal of Amy Faye, as Mr. Titian Wimperson asserts.
I doubt the police report is a fake.
After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence. Still, I feel like something we learned in that police report is important somehow. It's not jumping out at me, man. Let me look for a hint. That one is not. Am I being silly right now? Let's see. Emma's testimony. God, right away, dude. Come on, Domm, you're better than this. It's true that he stole from the Titian residence. Press the fifth statement. The robbery report is added to the court record. Okay, we got that. That's where we're at. Oh, Oh man, that is a small detail. Okay. Alright, let's see. I'll take you through this. Meanwhile, in a universe where Gumshoe is on the stand, they argue that his report was false. Yeah, because they don't trust him as much as Emma. Yeah, I can see that. So it is the 5th statement. So here's what we're supposed to... What we found in this was the Mr. Paul Attition Wimperson. And then we're supposed to connect that to the emails, because this is Mr. Paul Attition Wimperson is the one who is emailing Dr. Buff about the research, so he's the one that gave it to Dr. Buff, I guess, is maybe what we're trying to say. Man, but the initials on that email though, that's what I'm supposed to fucking figure out. Damn, dog. Objection! Objection! The doctor stole the relic from the plaintiff? Are you sure? Because that statement doesn't agree with a certain piece of evidence. What do you mean? Take a look at this.
What about it?
This contains an email from the doctor's computer. Email? And that little piece of plastic? I don't believe it. I'm afraid I don't understand. Therefore, it's not true. Guilty. This stick here can store all sorts of computer data. I still don't get it. Here, just take a look at this. Apparently, the doctor was reporting his research findings to a certain individual. Now take a look at this. It's a police report Detective Sky presented to this court. You can see the plaintiff's legal name on it. Politician Wimperson. I can see why he dropped Wimperson from his name, but that's hardly breaking news. Makes him sound like a wimp. Look closer, Your Honor. His initials! Right. The plaintiff's full legal name is Politician Wimperson. Now consider this. The email's recipient address starts with 3 letters.
P-A-W? Oh! Don't tell me!
Oh, but I will anyway. The individual who hired the doctor to study the disputed item is none other than Politician Wimperson.
Wait, then that means...
Exactly. He wouldn't have asked the man who stole his family heirloom to study it. Therefore, how could this possibly be the Crystal Vamy Fae?
Ah!
It's even got a picture of it.
We never checked the doctor's emails. We couldn't even figure out the password to his computer.
It's because you wouldn't talk to his desperately lonely son. The plaintiff willingly left the orb in the doctor's care so he could study it, at the behest of his benefactor.
Wait. Then what about the police report? I have all the details of the theft right here.
It's probably for another relic, the real Crystal Vamy Fae. He's just using the report as a way to claim that our orb is actually his stolen crystal. And how are you so certain that PAW refers to the client's initials? Maybe the email's recipient was a dog lover. Perhaps. So let's get to know your client a little better, shall we? Mr. Politician Wimperson. I suppose shutting down detractors is all a part of a politician's job. Answer me this, Mr. Attition Wimperson. What is your shoe size? Your favorite food? Your birthday? Dude, what the hell am I supposed to ask him? I don't... What is this? Is it like how old he is or something? What? Because his birthday is the only thing that makes... I mean, unless there was a footprint somewhere. Oh, it's the email or something. Right? Because the other part of his email was a number. 7-Eleven, so maybe that's supposed to be like his birthday. I guess it could be a shoe size. It's not a shoe size, dude. It's his birthday. Let me save. You're the person with the PAW email. Was a dog lover. Great reasoning. Phoenix, yeah, classic, like, Phoenix getting desperate reasoning, isn't it? And he loves food from the 7-Eleven. Oh, yeah, okay. That's probably what they were going for that one. That's funny. He loves 7-Eleven, dude. What is your birthday? My birthday is July 11th. But what's it to you? Oh, I see. You can address birthday gifts to my office. But full disclosure, I only accept gifts valued at $1,000 or more. Isn't that like a reference to like a donation law? Why has everyone gone silent? How can anyone be that self-centered? Oh, right. Politician. Politicians suck. Don't we all agree? Did everyone hear that? He said July 11th. July 11th, or rather, 7-Eleven matches the numbers in the email address. Way to be obvious, idiot. Both the name and birthday are a match. I hardly think that's a coincidence. Wait. Why, you sneaky little... Looks like someone finally decided to join the conversation. Would the plaintiff care to explain? I would like to say that is quite... Quite what? Quite a thing you've said. Nice one, dude. European mind, I wonder when January 71st is. Any other thoughts? No further comments. I stand by my previous statement. Yeah, I wonder if they have like I guess they wouldn't. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that must be really weird for any European players because they went with the English, or the, not the English way of doing it, they went with the American way of doing it. You can't just walk away. Even politicians have to explain themselves in a court of law. Now, do any other countries do it the way we do it? Or are we the only ones? And if so, why do we do it that way? I'm afraid I simply don't know how it happened. I can't possibly explain matters outside of my purview. Perhaps it was a mistake on the part of my secretary. Oh, no, you don't, you slippery eel. You slippery little fella. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? I won't argue your assertion. My client lent the treasure in question to the doctor and asked him to study it. It seems that much is a fact. Now we're getting somewhere. However, it has no bearing on the issue of ownership. How so? Mr. Attition, I fully understand your position here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom after all. You've got to be kidding me! Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Titian family heirloom, and has been for centuries. But Dr. Buffett was so eager to study its proud heritage, I just couldn't say no. I didn't even tell my grandfather. But in order to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claim to be the crystal of Amy Faye to that person? You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that? I was going to explain everything to grandfather later, honest. I misread that as my lover. My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps. And if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man could have said no. Damn it, I'm reading so weirdly for Phoenix. I doubt the kindly old man could have said no. Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. I spoil my grandchildren. And that's what grandfathers are for. Your Honor, please. I mean, it's been in the family for centuries. My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard today. Oh, that's where he got it. That's why he's so proud of it, dude. Oh. Abe? So I'm sure he would have been okay with me using the crystal as I saw fit.
Grandpa's spoiled little brat. I think the judge is buying it, Apollo.
No surprise there. He's always going on about how his own grandchild, after all.
Excuse me, can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done.
By all means, Detective Sky. Thank you for your assistance.
You're welcome. It's nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around.
Seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Titian Wimperson apparently lent his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed?
Oh,
All right, now what?
Apollo, let's hear what they know about this so-called crystal of Amy Faye. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements.
right. Okay, then, Mr. Wright. If the item in question really is a Titian family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it. Of course. Mr. Titian Wimperson, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal's origin. All right. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the crystal of Amy Faye and the illustrious history of the Titian clan. Are you ready? Our story begins back in the old country, when the Titian family reigned supreme. The illustrious history of the Titian clan.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him.
I am a descendant of that great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history.
Well, that devolved into a great load of self-aggrandizing propaganda fast.
As you can see, the crystal of Amy Faye is an heirloom of the esteemed house of Attition. And you have proof that it has always been in the Attition family? I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one Ives Shinato, age 85, gave the following statement. The Attition showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad. Can we really trust the memory of an old man? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain that statement to the judge?
Yes, explain that to me, Mr. Justice.
Oh, I didn't mean... what I'm trying to say is,
Never underestimate the memory of your elders. I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shinato's statement to be perfectly credible.
Wow, did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve.
you're not helping, Athena.
You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice.
Yeah, press X it out. I need a picture of Judge on a t-shirt. He is iconic. Hell yeah, dude. I love the Judge for always being there, too. I feel like he really grows on you because he's always there, you know? Like, they replace him a couple times, you know? But he's freaking rock solid throughout like, the whole thing. And he's always a good character, dude. And he never forgets that whip.
I'll never forget it. Oh my god.
My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. Hold it! Hold it! That object you set down there, is it something of importance to you? It's a name placard. This one here belonged to my grandfather, Abram Attition. He had it custom made during his distinguished political career. It's so funny. It's special because it was crafted from the finest Italian plastic. Italian plastic?
I wasn't aware the Italians were famous for their fine plastic.
You can touch it if you want. No, I'm fine. Very well. I'll just continue with my testimony. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler, but he was also an eminent politician. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Hold it! Yeah, the judge is a suspect. That'd be great if somehow the judge... We had like the judge and non-judge clothes too. That'd be so weird. So I take it the relationship with the Fae clan was a close one. A smooth and open line of communication with my entire electorate. That is the Paul Attition way. Huh? Oh, sorry. I was asking about your ancestor. Whether it's about me or my ancestor. Feel free to ask me anything you'd like. Transparency in government. That is the Paul Attition way.
More like dodging questions. That's the politician way.
Thanks. I'll be sure to ask when I have something you'll actually answer. As I was saying, the Attition family protected the Fae spirit mediums back then. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. Hold it!
Spirit mediums were targets of discrimination? Yes. Some people even treated them like they were monsters. The transformation the mediums underwent when channeling spirits frightened the locals. And then there were those who tried to use them.
You mean they sought to control the channeling powers of the mediums?
Discriminating against a minority is absolutely despicable. A vote for me is a vote to end discrimination. I vow to root it out wherever it may be. That is my promise to you.
He's totally ignoring your questions. It's like you're a moderator at a political debate.
Yeah, and only he cares about his talking points. As thrilling as your campaign is, could we please get back to your testimony?
As you wish. Now then, as for the crystal of Amy Faye. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him.
We're gonna zoom in on it this time.
Hold it!
You said she had it made, so then it was made in Japan.
That's right. They say she hired a famous craftsman to make it. And they say it's quite valuable, too.
And you were going to take such a priceless family heirloom and just give to your patron?
That's so typical of you ignorant common types. Making difficult decisions when the chips are down is what being a politician is all about. But only when it's in service of your own political career, you mean? The crystal is a testament to my ancestors' remarkable achievements. And furthermore, I am a descendant of that great lord.
Hold it. So tell me, Mr. Attition Wimperson, are you famous in a Korean village?
You could say that, but I find my popularity to be rather bemusing.
Bemusing?
Yes, my campaign posters keep going missing as soon as I put them up. My avid supporters and female fans are likely taking them home to hang in their bedrooms.
I guess ignorance really is bliss.
All this only proves my fine lineage.
You indeed, dude.
As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history.
Hold it. I'm sorry, but is any of that relevant to the issue of the relic's rightful owner?
Have you ever heard of Kingcraft?
What's that, like a video game? Kingcraft?
It's the art of ruling as a king. My father drilled it into my head from a young age. And one of its precepts states, "Ruin awaits a ruler who responds to every single issue posed by the masses." The masses.
Well, that answered my question about what he meant by king of this nation. Progress.
Apollo, who is this Amy Faye anyway?
I believe she was the founder of the Korean channeling technique. Technique.
The plaintiff claims she had the crystal made for his ancestor. That would mean it was made in Japan, right?
Yes, I suppose it would. So yeah, they said that twice. If you made Japan thing. That's gotta be part of it then, huh? She was praised as a benevolent ruler. I don't know. I feel like it might be this one since it's got a zoom in on the crystal itself. But what would we push against it? Let's see. Let me look at the evidence. Maybe there's something that'll jump out at me in here. There's the Founder's Orb. Let's see. Research notes. Orb transfer agreement. I agree to hand up the Founder's Orb. Nah, nothing there. In the emails. There's just a picture of it, but that's from... We already used that. From Korean founding period. Dragon Age battle. Well, I was just thinking how weird it is that this was in that box, right? Because I remember this box here, because we had to use this thing to open the box to even get the orb out. I don't know that that really says anything about what we're doing right now. I just think it's weird. Robbery report. We already used the robbery report. Don't know that we would use it against Racine. Study photo, that's nothing to do with it. I don't know, the only thing that's like old is the research notes too, because they're talking about them having gotten it from Japan. I don't know, let's try the research notes, I guess. It's definitely not the drone. Yeah, I'll just try that. We save. Saving it.
Objection!
Hey, the music stopped?
You stated that Amy Faye had the crystal made for your ancestor. So am I to assume it was made in Japan?
See, did the evidence say anything about Japan?
That's right. The craftsmanship is unbeatable. Well, that's strange. I don't see how your so-called crystal could have been made there. What are you talking about? It's quite obvious that if you take a closer look at this.
Oh, is it the motif on it? Because this is got the same thing that the box had on it, right? Because that was what part of the evidence was pointing at. I bet maybe that's what we're doing. Stumbling into it. It's quite obvious if you take a closer look at this. Okay, so we're probably pointing to this. I saved it recently. Let's try it.
Take a look at the distinctive design here. According to Dr. Buff, it's a Matama motif dating back to the early days of the Kingdom of Karain. The Kingdom of Karain, And you base this on? Here. This piece of evidence, Your Honor. These are the doctor's research notes on the Founder's Orb. This is the box in which the orb was originally stored. It features the same pattern as the one found on the orb. They do look like the same pattern. Therefore, I assert that the disputed item must have been made in the Kingdom of Karain. My blackguard! The Korean channeling technique originated in the Kingdom of Karain. And Amy Faye is known to have traveled there to train. With that in mind, what's to say she didn't bring that pattern back with her? But since this is clearly a Karyanese design, not even you can deny the possibility that it was made there, in the Kingdom of Karain. Anything's possible to some extent, That doesn't make it true. So you can't conclude that the orb is from Karain based solely on that pattern. If it were that simple, I could just as easily say it's Japanese. I have to agree with Mr. Wright. The pattern alone proves nothing. But that also means that there is no basis to claim the item in dispute was made in Japan either. At this rate, we're going nowhere fast.
Ah, he's right. We're just spinning our wheels here.
I wonder if you have any evidence that could break this stalemate.
Evidence that could break this stalemate.
I hope it exists. We either got exists or it does not exist. I assume we would choose exist. Usually we would. I don't know what it is though. Evidence that could break this stalemate. A court record time? I don't think we have anything that would say it's from Japan. We don't even have anything that talks about where it was made. The orb itself, we don't have anything in here, right? It's just a picture of the orb. I don't know, let me save it. Whatever we pick, we saving. Loki. Did he just toot? Oh man, the dog just farted and it smelled horrible. Loki. Come on, buddy. You woke yourself up with that one, huh, buddy? Whew. P.U. Alright, I don't know. We saved it. I'll go with does not exist. I don't know what it is if it exists, but I'm sure the game will let us know if I'm wrong. There doesn't seem to be anything we can use, at least not at this point.
Well, unless we can find something, this trial won't be going anywhere.
No, he taped it to fix it. That's fine.
Phew, that's much better.
What's his deal?
I have a suggestion. Why don't we consider this from a different angle? I'm listening.
I know your pain. I gave Nelson sardine yesterday. It was a chemical warfare all night after this. That's funny. Yeah, my brother's been trying to give him some different dog food, and I think his body's adjusting to it, and every time he gives him a different dog food, it's just, he always farts a bit. Hey! Loki! Loki! Is Dad home early or something? What is he barking at? Maybe he even just wants to be let out. You know, let me go check it out really quick. He might just need to be let out. I'll be right back.
There's no escape this time. You know that. You want to know why I go after pretty little things like you? No one's gonna miss you. It's as simple as that. There's always more of you. Ladies of the night. You're all done. times a dozen. Replaceable. Forgettable. Dead.
Kelly Capwell.
5 years ago, something happened that turned my life upside down. Now, after I finally put all the pieces together, why did he have to come back?
Santa Barbara. See it from the beginning, July 30th.
Have you tried Omega Mart brand orange drink? If you or a loved one answered yes, please call Omega Mart Consumer Affairs immediately at 1-800-808-4194. That's 1-800-808-4194. Your safety is important to us.
Prepare thyself well, Dragon Warrior. Thy most challenging quest ever awaits. Go with speed, but go with patience. Seek out an arsenal, a dragon scale, a torch, and magic herbs. Use wisdom and cunning to choose.
Alright, I'm not sure why Loki was barking, but we did have a package, so maybe he saw the delivery man. I don't know. Could be it. Alright, but we are back and ready for it. What were we doing though? Let me see here. Suggestion, why don't we consider this from a different angle? I'm listening. Okay. Phoenix had another angle to look at this from. Let's do it. What if the Defiant Dragons really were authorized to take possession of the relic? I'm afraid I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Wright. Consider the orb transfer agreement, which states, I agree to hand over the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I will come to no harm. What if, as the last part suggests, this was written under duress? That would render the agreement null and void. What are you suggesting, Mr. Wright? While you were on your little cave expedition, I was investigating Dr. Buff's accident. And there was something you overlooked, Mr. Justice. Namely, that his accident might have actually been murder. What? Murder? We knew it! We knew it!
Mr. Wright! You do realize such statements are not to be made lightly, not in my court. Are you suggesting that the Doctor was murdered by the Defiant Dragons?
Yes, but follow me on this for a sec. The books that came tumbling down were from the archaeology shelf. However, among that mountain of books was a single volume on psychology. What's more, there was some blood on it. And you feel this is important because the books that came tumbling down were from the top shelf, the archaeology books. We know this because the Doctor's books were meticulously organized by subject. Archaeology took up the entire shelf, so that psychology book is completely out of place. Come to think of it, the shelves were arranged quite carefully. It's also worth noting that psychology books only take up a tiny part of the bottom shelf. You might wonder why a book on psychology was found amid the pile of archaeology books. But I believe I can explain what that single out-of-place book was doing there. The Doctor was struck from behind while selecting a psychology book from the shelf.
And that's when the blood got on the book? Precisely. And to make it look like an accident, he was buried under a mountain of archaeology books. Wait a second. This is all just speculation, right? Or do you have proof that it was murder? Of course I do. You do? On a hunch, I had Detective Skye examine the doctor's head wound. She found that he'd been struck by the corner of some object or another. Wait, what? A wound like that couldn't have been resulted from a fall to the floor, you know. Do you understand what this means, Mr. Justice? The wound makes it crystal clear that Dr. Buff was murdered.
What? Well, that was unexpected.
Was it?
Who'd have thought we'd break out of the stalemate like this? He pulled the ladder right out from under us.
Still, if he thinks that's enough to make me back down, he's got another thing coming.
We're hearing this music coming at you. Yeah, right. He made it start playing against us, dude. Come on, man.
Even if the cause of death was murder, what makes you think it was the Defiant Dragons? You should know better than to hurl baseless accusations. Did you forget who you were up against, Mr. Justice?
I hate that my voices between Apollo and Phoenix aren't different enough. Huh?
You didn't actually think I'd come to court without witness and evidence, did you?
Witnesses and evidence, did you?
What are you talking about? I would like to request further testimony from the plaintiff. Specifically, I would like the court to hear how he saw one of the rebels leaving the crime scene. He saw what?
If he can prove it was murder, that's the end of our client's right to the orb. Did he have this up his sleeve the whole time?
How could Mr. Wright do this to us?
He was just waiting to spring this trap.
This trial has taken another unexpected turn. But I must mention, Mr. Wright, that you have yet to identify the murder weapon. The object used to commit the murder was not located at the scene of the crime. The murderer likely disposed of it elsewhere.
Dr. Buff's autopsy report. Dr. Buff was struck with the corner of some object. The time of death is between 10 and 11 p.m.
Well, I never thought we'd be deliberating the issue of murder at a civil trial. That's new. All right, Mr. Attition Wimperson, your testimony, if you please. Prepare to be dazzled. Dazzled by charismatic oration forged in the crucible of campaign battles.
The rebel's crime.
That evening, I was walking alone, lost in thought. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. Aribal. He was running out the front door. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime. A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That is my promise to you. So the plaintiff saw a possible suspect fleeing from the doctor's residence. And it was within the window of the estimated time of death.
That's a reball. What in the world were you doing there then?
Etchin saw dads fleeing the scene the night of the murder. One of the books is stained with coffee and blood.
Blood! It seems Mr. Arebal was loitering about Korean village that day. There's evidence he was in the doctor's study as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Justice? Ah, you mean the suitcase? Exactly. He must have been in quite the rush to leave that behind. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Mr. Arebal just so happens to be sitting in the gallery today. See? That's him trying to escape as we speak.
Bailiff, don't let that man get away.
Right, you backstabber, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, we were like, Phoenix is like totally friends with him. I feel like Phoenix is doing one of those things where he's like, I got a plan, but I can't tell you what it is. And I gotta like act like I'm against you, but really I'm trying to get the Attition family or something somehow. We'll see how he pulls it off, dude. Our little Feeny.
All right. The counsel/defense may question the plaintiff/witness once more. Ahem. Please proceed, Mr. Justice.
That evening I was walking alone, lost in thought. Hold it. Why were you taking a walk? Society is inundated with serious problems that must be solved. And as a politician, I am always on the job, thinking hard about possible solutions, even on my walks.
Thanks for the non-answer.
While we live out our comfy lives, there are starving children who suffer in the back alleys of our major cities. It's not in me to ignore such suffering. A vote for me is a vote to end hunger, and your win for world peace.
For some reason I wasn't expecting the world peace part.
Yes, Mr. Attition Wimperson, we are well aware of your outstanding character. Now, please continue with your testimony. I can practically hear my poll numbers surging. Now, on with my speech. After all, the voting public must be informed of the magnificence that is me. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. Arebal. Hold it! Hold it! Where exactly were you when you saw Mr. Arebal? Right here, under this tree. I saw him dashing out of Dr. Buff's front door. And he didn't notice you? No. I was hidden by the tree.
It is really all that important to know that... Wait. Is it really all that important to know from where the plaintiff saw Mr. Arebal?
I mean, it probably is. Saving it. Every time we make a decision, save it. I'm gonna say yes it is, because I usually say yes it is.
Yes, I believe it matters a lot. I ask that it please be added to the witness's testimony.
If we can get another statement, it's always a good thing, right?
I was under this tree when I saw Mr. Arebal. Hold it. That tree? What were you doing under that tree? A lack of lateral thinking. That is a politician's downfall.
What?
That is why, if I'm elected, I promise to think outside the box. The question was, what were you doing under the tree, Mr. Attition Wimperson? I suppose I can't expect a plebeian such as yourself to understand my grand design.
Oh yeah? Try me, O Lord of Plebes.
Or plebs, I guess. Mr. Attition Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your grand political vision. Now, let's have the rest of your testimony, if you please.
I can hardly wait for the upcoming election. He was running out the front door.
Hold it! Did you notice anything unusual?
Yes, his behavior was incredibly suspicious. His eyes were darting all around as he ran off in total panic. As soon as I saw that, I knew he had done something, and it probably wasn't good.
Despite that, you still didn't report it to the police.
Who would have thought he had killed Dr. Buff? Not me. That's why I didn't report him.
So the witness didn't notify the police. Is that an important statement, Mr. Justice?
They're all important, Judge. They're all important. I mean, I already saved from the earlier one. We'll just say yes, it is again. Because, yes, it is.
Yes, it's important. I request that the witness add it to his testimony. Sure, why not? I had no idea that Dr. Buff was dead. That's why I didn't call the police.
Hold it. You had no idea he was dead. In other words, you knew nothing about what had happened.
I am truly ashamed of myself.
What?
There's been a gruesome murder in my beloved village. What a fool I've been. I was thinking only of the village's future and world peace. It seems my earnest attitude and industrious nature have come back to haunt me.
Only a politician would try to pass off self-aggrandizement as self-deprecation.
Apollo, you think this is how all politicians will be from now on?
We're all doomed if they are.
If you don't mind, I'd like to continue with my testimony. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime.
Hold it! But at the time, you didn't know the doctor was dead. Is that correct?
It's true that I've been known as a prodigy from a very young age. It's true that I've been known as a prodigy from a very young age. I still said it wrong. Prodigy. Huh? I graduated high school and college with exceptional grades as class president. I reformed stale old school traditions. My exploits were even covered in local papers. But as exceptional as I am, I can't possibly be expected to know everything at all times.
This isn't working. He keeps bending the questions to serve his own needs.
Hang in there, Apollo.
Mr. Attition Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your exceptional nature. Now, would you please continue with your testimony?
I have the upcoming election in the bag.
I think I just realized why we cared about where he was standing.
A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That is my promise to you.
But we'll press this first before we get into that.
Hold it!
So, how do you actually intend to end such violence?
Elite politicians such as myself never reveal their strategies. Did you really think I would divulge such sensitive information to the likes of you?
Yeah, but surely you have some sort of campaign platform you're running on.
No comment.
Clearly, his is a platform told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. Wait. Clearly, his is a platform told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. feel like that's like a quote or something. Signifying nothing. This is a platform told by an idiot. It's a Macbeth quote from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. This is a platform told by an idiot. In the play Macbeth, a Scottish general who is told by three witches that he will one day be king. Macbeth becomes obsessed with this prophecy and eventually murders the king to take the throne for himself. Well, that's I know what Macbeth is about. I thought they were going to say what the quote was for. The quote comes from Act 5. Oh, here it is. Scene 5 of the play when Macbeth is lamenting the death of his wife, Lady Macbeth. He says, "Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." Yeah, that's cool that they quoted Shakespeare there. I think we read Macbeth. I remember studying Macbeth. I think we read it. Yeah, pretty cool. I like it. He said he saw Dats from under the tree. If that's true, then...
Did you figure something out?
Yeah, I think he's hiding something. Let's take another look at the evidence, Athena. Alright, so what I'm thinking they're trying to say is... if he was under the tree, there's a window right here, and this is where he died. So if he was standing here, he should have been able to see him dead. Instead, he says he just saw Dats running out here. I think that's what we're saying, but what do we press that against? That's the next question. Read Macbeth in grade 11. See, I think we did too. We read a lot of Shakespeare. I remember like talking about Macbeth, so I assume we read it, but I don't remember the story enough. I just remember the witches and stuff, but I remember freaking Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar a lot more than I remember Macbeth for some reason. I don't know, maybe they were just longer stories or something. I guess I just need to reread Macbeth. The Scottish play or whatever. Alright, let's see here. That evening I was walking alone, lost in thought. It was one of the ones I had him add. I was under the tree when I saw Mr. Aribal. I think this is the one, because he's asserting that he's under the tree. Unless the other one says he didn't know he was dead. Let's see, I'm running out the front door. I had no idea Buff was dead. That's why I didn't call the police. That's the one I should push it against, because of course he would have seen him, right? Saving it. Present. Objection! Got him. Mr. Attition Wimperson, rather than Mr. Aribal. Wasn't there something else that should have had your undivided attention? Like what? Oh, yes, of course. A politician must also keep his finger on the electorate's pulse. Sorry, but you're way off. I am? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? If the witness saw Mr. Aribal from his position here, then he should have also been able to see the doctor's body. After all, it was right next to a huge window. Why, I believe you have a point there. With the body that clearly visible to the witness, it's unthinkable that he wouldn't have reported it to the police. Would the witness care to respond? He's just like asleep. Hello? Did he fall asleep? Mr. Attition Wimperson? Mr. Attition Wimperson! Huh? Oh, there are many sides to any issue. That's his go-to. What did I ever do to deserve this?
In any case, I'd like the court to acknowledge the inconsistency in the witness's testimony. Mr. Attition Wimperson, did you really see Mr. Aribal? Yes. He just walks away. Where do you think you're going? Oh, I thought I'd return to my seat, seeing as I had already answered the question. This isn't some small town hall debate, so you just stay right there until I say we're through. Damn, you tell him, dude. Hell yeah, Mr. Justice. I'll have to run that by my campaign manager before I... glare. Gulp. Or gulp. Mr. Attition Wimperson, I think it's time for you to come clean. Huh? So then does this mean he didn't see Mr. Aribal? As your lawyer, Mr. Attition Wimperson, I advise you to divulge that matter we discussed. Silence is no longer an option. Are you sure about this? I'm in the midst of running for office. I can't afford to let any strange rumors get out. Don't worry. You won't suffer any blowback for what you're about to reveal.
Blowback? I'm not sure I like the sound of that, Mr. Wright. Who is he grooming,
Not to worry, Your Honor. Nothing untoward will come of this, I promise. Now then, Mr. Justice. Remember how it was an anonymous caller who reported the doctor's death? Come to think of it... Oh, they're gonna say that it was Paul who did it? Emma, who was the first to discover the body?
About that. Whoever it was, it seems they wanted to remain anonymous.
What?
It happens now and then. Some people would rather not get involved with the police.
Damn it. Wait. You're not saying that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The anonymous source who contacted the police after discovering the body was my client, Mr. Paul Attition Wimperson. What? You don't say. So you see, he played his part as a concerned citizen, quite admirably, if I may say so. Isn't that right? Yes, indeed. In our society today, there are too many who choose indifference over righteous action. But I don't number among them. That's why I did my duty as a concerned citizen. One might call me the model citizen, one worthy of standing above the rest. What a real standard bearer. Wait, bearer? Standard bearer? Oh, standard is in like, okay, sorry. That took me a second. I forgot what a standard bearer is. What a real standard bearer he is, reporting it anonymously. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Justice, wasn't there someone else at the scene of the crime when my client discovered the body? Oh, you mean Mr. Aribal? He would have been leaving the doctor's house right around then. Wait, that means... Yes, it does. In short, what my client witnessed was Mr. Aribal fleeing the scene of a heinous murder. Ah! And that's not all. Based on what we've heard so far, Mr. Aribal looked exceedingly suspicious, and that's putting it mildly. We already know that the Defiant Dragons threatened the Doctor with bodily harm. And now that they've killed him, the so-called orb transfer agreement is null and void. Ah!
Apollo! If we don't come up with some sort of counter-argument...
And what sort of evidence do you have? Can you actually prove that it was Mr. Aribal who killed the doctor?
That move had desperate written all over it.
It's all I've got, so I'm going to go with it. Evidence? I suppose it's true that I don't have any. I knew it! But I do have another witness. You do? You should know I always come fully prepared, Mr. Justice. And my new witness will provide testimony proving Mr. Aribal's guilt.
A new witness? I wonder who it could be.
It's weird because we've like shoehorned Phoenix into being a prosecutor now, right? It's like they sneaked it in there. It's like, oh no, it's just two attorneys, you know, because it's civil. And all of a sudden he's a prosecutor prosecuting Dats, and now all of a sudden we're defending Dats in some way. Very strange.
Very well. Bailiff, please summon our new witness. In the meantime, the court will take a brief recess.
Oh, is this going to be where we should end it? Probably where we should end it then. Maybe it'll be a to be continued.
I would like both sides to use this time to prepare properly. Understood?
Oh, it's not going to be to be continued. Oh, well, I still think it's a good stopping point, though. Try to keep it around 2 hours. That should be pretty good. So, next week we'll get into whomever is the next witness. And we'll probably finish up this day of trial. But, yes, that will be next week. So, yeah, thanks to everybody for coming to hang out this week. Let me throw a little music on while I say goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream and the story. Yeah, good night. Let me see here. We can possibly raid. Yeah, we got a few people if you guys want to raid, or maybe I can at least just suggest some other people to check out, maybe.
Welcome and never blame me.
Oh, Never's here. What's up, dude? Yeah, no problem. Thanks for hanging out, Never. Good to know you're here, bud. Thanks for the stream, Dom. Have a good night. Yeah, you too, hoodie. Let's see. I'll at least do some shout-outs. Let's see. Oh, I don't have too many friends on. I got 13 Lucky Gypsies is on. Rage Doomday's on. We haven't been over there in a while. Yeah, let's go ahead and raid into Rage Doomsday real quick. Haven't seen her in forever. Oh, where's that keyboard? Oh, what was she playing? Don't Starve Together is what she's playing. Alright, let's see here. Make sure I spelled it right. Cool, the raid has started. Thanks to anybody who sticks around for that. I appreciate you. Yeah, thanks again, guys, for hanging out with me tonight with some Ace Attorney. I'll be back with more Ace Attorney next Wednesday, of course. But before then, I will be playing some more Phantom Liberty Cyberpunk on Monday and probably Tuesday next week. Maybe we'll see. Probably, because I'm really enjoying it. I might even like sneak in another stream before Monday. We'll see, because I've been itching to play it some more because I do love Cyberpunk. So, but yeah, other than that though, next week, next Wednesday, we'll be back on this case, finding out what happens next. So, thanks for hanging out again, guys. We'll see you later. Enjoy some Don't Starve Together with Rage Doomsday. Oh shit, let me jump into Rage's stream really quick before I hit raid on my other PC. All right, I'm there. Right on, guys. See you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.